This is ARLO Guthrie, and you're listening to the Acoustic Record, Java John.
And we have a special caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Hey.
Arlo.
Yeah.
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Arlo Guthrie here. We thought we'd call in and wish him a happy birthday. Arlo is now a neighbor of ours down here in Sebastian, Florida. Welcome, Arlo.
Well, thank you. Where are you guys?
We're up in Melbourne.
Oh, that's just up the road.
Yeah, this is I am Java John. We've chatted before over the years, and I have a show called The Acoustic Record, and it is on tropicwaveradio.net. And well, at least my show, what I'm trying to do is continue playing the newer and older music by folks like yourself, and newer and upcoming artists such as your kids.
Internet radios kind of thing?
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. So how's things going? I see you're getting geared up for a family tour.
Yeah, we started in June.
Oh, wonderful.
And we started up in we were down in, we were home in Florida and took off from there, went all the way up to, like, Alaska.
Cool.
Started the tour up there, went up and down the West Coast a time or two, and finally got here, and we're heading out of here to tomorrow, going to Oklahoma for my dad's festival there. That happens every year.
Yes.
So we got a lot going on.
Yeah, great. And I see that Sarah Lee and Johnny are coming out on some of the dates?
Yeah, they're on all of the dates that we're doing. That's part of the family tour.
Great. Oh, they're coming on all of them?
On all of them, except for, I think we're heading over to, like, Europe for a couple of months starting in August, and they won't be on that. That's a whole different world of things over there, and they just got back from doing it, so they've got some time off to themselves and maybe make some records or something. But for the most part, we're on a thing called the Guthrie Family Legacy Tour now that started in June, and this runs all the way through to next May.
Great. I'm sure there's some Florida dates lined up.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I forget what they are, but if anyone's interested, just go over to our website, which is just arlo.net.
Yeah.
And, all of the dates are there, the Florida ones. I think we're doing Gainesville. We're doing something in West Palm, and then something down in the Keys, and God knows, it's just too many to remember.
Excellent. My dad went and caught you in Vero, I think last year for that firefighters fundraiser, and I had seen you.
So much fun doing that.
Oh, he loved it. He was just beside himself. I've seen you so many times. I've always loved you, but he was just beside himself after he saw that.
Well, those are hometown gigs for us, and we've tried to every year do something, that's free to the public and just a good time for everybody, and get some other artists on the show with us who are from the area, and we had a nice time last year. That was good. We didn't do it this year. I don't know what happened. We got called away to something else, but we'll get back to doing that probably next year.
Cool. Anything else coming up for you? You got anything in the works that we need to know about?
Oh, my God. Nothing you'll remember by the time it actually happens. We have a record coming out that we recorded earlier this year. We're excited about that, but that won't be till like September or something.
Good.
And aside from that, we're just, cruising. We've taken a few weeks off just now so that we could spend a little time with the family and everything. And
good.
And now after that, we're off to Europe, and then come back, and we got a full schedule of stuff through October and November. And then in December, we'll take a little time off again.
Nice. You did mention arlo.net, and I wanted to personally thank you because the last time I saw you, you autographed a portrait I drew of you. And that's the very first picture you see in the Blunderite artwork on arlo.net. So thank you for putting that on your website.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You're an artist also?
Yeah. I used to have the Cool Beans Coffee House, and we chatted a couple times about the possibilities of bringing you up to Cocoa a few years back, but it never worked out. So maybe someday we'll get you down here in the studio, but maybe I should have kept...
You're a guy of many talents then.
Well, I try, so are you there, but,
I mean, you can't beat the big three, which is, music and art and coffee.
There you go.
I mean,
you got that.
Well, it might be one or two things you could put in there.
You got that right.
It.
There you go. Happy birthday, and I'll stay in touch, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, man.
Take it easy.
See you, bye. Very cool. There you have Arlo Guthrie, ladies and gentlemen.
This is Arlo Guthrie, and you're listening to the Acoustic Record, Java John.
All right on time. Welcome back, everyone. Java John here. You're listening to the Acoustic Record on Tropic Wave Radio.net, and today we're spending time appreciating the Guthrie family legacy. And I've got Arlo Guthrie on the line. Are you there, Arlo?
I am mostly here.
If you're not, what do they say? If you're not all here, you're whatever. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Thank you.
You getting to fire up a cup of Java there?
I was working on it, but then I thought I might lose you here on this thing, so I'm going to stick around and just chat with you.
All right. Well, that'll work too. I mean, but you know, I know how important it is to get fired up on that first cup.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to walk and talk at the same time.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a few preliminaries out of the way here. Then while you're doing that, first off,
it'll be at the same time. So I'm in a hotel somewhere in Austin, Texas at the moment.
Oh, cool.
I'll be just chatting with you and goofing off, walking around.
All right.
Having fun.
You got a robe on though, don't you?
I got dressed already. Yeah.
Last time we spoke was on your birthday, and I appreciate
it. Was?
Yeah, I called you up on your birthday. Remember? We're the little internet radio station up a piece from Sebastian.
Oh, yes. Okay. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. Oh, we've been having a lot of fun since you and I last talked. And I think the last time you and I talked, you were just about heading out the door to go to Oklahoma for your daddy's festival. And then, and then you were getting ready to kick off the Guthrie family. Is it called the Legacy Tour? Yes, the family.
Yeah, we we started that in June of last year.
Right.
And so we probably went to Okima, Oklahoma in July, which is when that festival is. And we just took a 2-month break, and we're picking it up again in about another week.
Yeah, I see. Lucky for us folks down here in Florida, you're going to be, let's see, on the 2nd, you're going to be in South Carolina in Newberry, and then Columbus, Georgia on the 3rd. Atlanta, Georgia on the 4th, Gainesville, Florida on the 8th, West Palm Beach, Florida on the 9th, and Fort Lauderdale on the 10th, and way down in Key Largo on the 11th. Very cool to go to Key Largo.
Especially at this time of year.
Oh, yeah.
We're not stupid when we book these things.
Hey, listen, a lot of people have made mistakes as far as what time of year to go where, and I think you learn over the years, huh?
Well, we try to figure it out. You know, it's not always easy.
Well, we used to spend a lot of time for many years down in Key Largo, and that's a wonderful place.
Yeah, it is. It's a real nice place. Have a latte, please. All right, John, I'm still with you.
So I see. You're getting a cup of coffee. Now I understand.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
All right. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's unique.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
This is like walking. This is live cam or something.
This is the man on the street.
That's right. The man on the street.
Pretty cool. So then I think after you went to Okima, did I say that right? Okima? Okima.
Yeah.
After you went to Okima, you were going to head out to Europe, I think was the plan.
That sounds about right.
How was things over? How was the tour over in Europe this year?
It was great. We were there for August and September. I brought not only my son with me, but my grandson, Krishna, who's Abe's boy, and he played drums with us for about a month over there. Had a great time. Here's a guy who's typical speed death metal drummer.
Yeah.
Everybody at 15, I think, does that these days.
Yeah.
And he suddenly found himself in a herd of wild Irish fiddlers who make death metal players seem like they're living in slow motion or something. I mean, these guys go for 3 or 4 days at a time. They get this weird look in their eye, and they keep playing and playing and playing. And they get into a thing over there, and he came back with a grin, a smile on his face that just wouldn't quit, saying, this stuff is great.
Beautiful. And
it was really nice.
What's his name?
Krishna.
Okay, good. So you answered one of my questions right there. I was curious if yet another generation of Guthries have hit the road with you yet, and apparently they have. So
yes, they have. And as a matter of fact, on this tour, my granddaughter, let's see, who's coming? Olivia shows up every once in a while on stage and sings along with us. She'll be 5, I guess, this year.
Beautiful.
And we've got 5 grandkids. All of them have been with me on the stage at this point at some time. And we're getting 2 more grandkids this year, so we're going to have a pretty good band in a few years.
yeah. That or a baseball team, huh?
That's right.
Did you ever have the opportunity to share the stage with your father?
I never did.
No. I had a feeling that might have been the case.
No, he was already sick and in the hospital for most of the time that I grew up. The first 5 or 6 years. How much? $3.52.
Have him send me the bill, Arlo.
That's all right. I got it. Let me just take care of this.
Yeah.
And absolutely. Thank you. And I'll take one of these. Got one of them stir things. Oh, there it is. All right, John, I'm back with you.
Yeah. This is like an exclusive here. I like that. I don't know if anybody's ever got Arlo on tape buying a cup of coffee, but it's here.
Well, probably not.
You got it here now.
There's other things, too. We could go shopping or something.
Is there a little shop around the corner? Pick up some Austin memorabilia?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, unfortunately, I never do that. I should do that. I'm not a shopper type.
Yeah. So
okay.
So you never. So I guess you were probably about 13 when your dad passed. Am I correct on that?
No, I was a little older. I had just actually recorded Alice's Restaurant.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And,
now I got it. Yes.
So I was about 18 or something like that, 19, whatever it was. Maybe even 20. Let's see. Yeah, I was 20 at the time.
But he had been in the hospital for a number of years at that point.
15 years.
Oh my gosh!
In those hospitals, yeah.
I didn't realize that.
That was a real marathon.
Wow, I did not realize.
But it wasn't so bad. I mean, it wasn't. We would get him out of there every week and bring him home. It was my job as a kid to play him all of the recordings that had come in that week from around the world of people singing his songs.
Right.
And be in a dozen different languages. Some orchestrated, some a simple banjo or guitar, and some, with the college kids wearing sweaters or whatever it was popular at the time. And he loved that. He just loved hearing that all sort of as it happened. So he was aware of what was going on. He was part of the world.
Good.
Yeah, it was a good thing.
So he would absolutely love what Nora and others are doing with his lyrics these days. Then, do you think?
Well, not only that, he actually encouraged it at the time.
Right.
There are songs of his, like a very well-known song of his called Plane Wreck at Los Gatos.
Right.
Which never had a tune that he put to it. It was just lyrics that he wrote and hadn't set a tune to it, but he gave it to, or somehow a guy named Martin Hoffman, a college kid, got a hold of the lyrics, put music to it, and it became one of his most popular songs.
Huh.
So that was true even back then.
Wow. I think I have an Ann Feeney take of that here that maybe I'll play later on in the show.
There's some beautiful recordings of it. Dolly Parton's done some wonderful stuff. I mean, all kinds of. That's the wonderful thing about my dad's songs is that they have been recorded by people in all these different music worlds.
Right.
That you wouldn't, that. And that was true, by the way, of my audience, too. There would be people singing along with me on Alice's Restaurant in a concert hall somewhere who wouldn't be seen talking together on the street after the gig.
Yeah.
And that's still true today. I love that.
Yeah. I just wanted to touch back to your dad and his days when he was in the hospital. I think if I'm not mistaken, he had a regular a host of friends that would come by and visit him too, wouldn't they? Maybe Cisco and
well,
Pete?
In the early days when he was first in there, we would bring him out every week to a friend's house nearby. The friends were called the Gleasons,
right?
And that's where people would show up. Some of his buddies. and bring musical instruments and sit around and play and, goof off and have some fun like that. That's where Bob Dylan first met my dad at the Gleason's house. And that's where we would go as kids and hang out and listen to all this stuff. And, But as the more ill that he became, the more difficult it became for him to deal with large groups of people.
Right.
And so eventually, we would just take him out to our house, and there wouldn't be anybody there, just us. And we would, make sure he got enough to eat and stuff to drink, and goof off that way.
Let me see here. I had a question I wanted to ask you about the recordings of Woody's that are showing up on the Guthrie Family Legacy Tour. Wire recordings? Can you tell me something about that?
Well, there is a wire recording that just came into our possession. An older guy had it in his home for, it was recorded in the early 40s, so however old that is. I mean, it's 60-something years old.
Yeah.
And I guess he was getting up there, and nobody else in the family knew what to do with it, and he brought it to the office and said, "I thought you might like this." And it's a recording of him in the early on his first jaunt to New York, where he meets up with my mom, and you can hear her introducing him on this old recording at a little show that she was putting on to introduce him to the sort of scene, as it were, on the East Coast.
Wow.
And it's an incredible recording. We've cleaned it up as best we could. It'll be out later this year, actually on his birthday, so it'll be released July 14th.
Wow.
And we're just playing a couple of excerpts from it during the show to, give the sort of idea that he's with us. Even he's obviously there in spirit, through the songs that he wrote and the ideas and the hopes and dreams that his kids and grandkids and great-grandkids are exhibiting.
Yeah. Unreal. Very cool. That's and the wire recording, that's the old one that's like on a spool, is that?
That's right.
Yeah.
Before tape.
Man, that's unbelievable that even came into your hands. That's very special.
There's still songs that we're discovering. He wrote thousands of songs, and he wrote them. He didn't write them in any normal way. He would write them on any piece of paper, any napkin, any paper bag, any whatever. So people are still sending that stuff in.
Wow.
We're still discovering that stuff.
And I noticed when looking for Woody's songs, that you, the family, and Nora have taken great care in presenting these to the world. And there are a lot. There's a lot of material out there that's seeing the light of day. I guess through you folks. Is there a bunch that are coming? Is there a bunch of material out through Smithsonian? Am I mistaken about that? The Smithsonian recordings?
Well, what we've done is we've taken some of the actual physical material, the handwritten lyrics to the songs, the political cartoons, the paintings.
I loved his artwork.
He was incredibly creative beyond just sitting there writing songs. And an exhibit of that went around through the Smithsonian, went around the country a few years ago, and it was out for about 2 or 3 years. Did very well, broke all kinds of records in the museums where it was presented. And that was mostly my sister Nora's work. She did a great job with that. She runs what we call the Woody Guthrie Archive.
Yes.
And all of this material is sort of housed and preserved and maintained in the archive. And every once in a while, we try to let people see what it is.
Yeah. I just found out late yesterday afternoon that I will have an opportunity to chat with her here in a couple hours on this program.
Well, she's great. She's just doing great. What she's done, which is extraordinary, is to get these lyrics out, not just to like-minded, not to people that look like Woody, sound like him,
right?
Not to people who pretend to be interested in things or whatever. She has got them out to such a wide variety of singers and writers and players, everything from Native American chanters to German cabaret punk bands. I mean, And everybody has contributed. There's a Grammy nominated, it may have even won an award, klezmer band that just recorded a whole record of his songs.
I'll be playing some of that later. The Klezmatics?
Yeah, the Klezmatics.
Yeah.
And I did some stuff with them. As a matter of fact, I think I did some stuff with them at one of the last shows we did in Florida.
Wow.
At the Travis Center.
Yeah.
And that was very, very cool.
Cool. And then I guess what, Klezmatics, and then of course it seemed like it all pretty much started off with the Billy Bragg and the Wilco stuff, which was
that was the first of the projects that she did, yeah.
And then she was, I guess Anna was, is it Anna or Annie? Anna.
Anna is her daughter.
Yes.
Annie is my daughter.
I guess Anna was telling me about the Dropkick Murphys covering, and so yes, it reaches a wide range of people.
But that's what's so cool. That is what I think my dad would have loved, and in that sense, my sister is doing just the best thing in the world.
For every man.
That's right.
You know,
for every man everywhere. You know.
Yeah, love it. And also, as I mentioned, I talked to Nora. I'm going to talk to Nora later. I had the pleasure of chatting with Pete about 25 minutes ago. He took the time out to talk to me for about 20 minutes. And
wow.
That was a very, very special treat. He sends his best to you. And, the last time, or actually the second time I saw you on stage was down here in Florida in Vero Beach with the Indian River Festival. And you shared the stage with Pete. And that was just such a special evening. I was just amazed at the way he would pull up a piece of stage and lay down and kick back and watch you do your song, and then get up and do his, and then go back over and sit down for a little bit. It was just, it was very neat and very special too.
I miss those days. I played with Pete for about 30 years doing those kinds of shows. We never did like a full tour or anything. We'd maybe do about a dozen, maybe a little more some years, some less, some others. Of those, we'd do about that many shows a year, but we did it for 30 years.
Yeah.
And we usually ended up at Carnegie Hall together the last year. And at some point, just, within the last year, I had realized that I had always thought of me as playing with my dad's friend Pete.
Yeah.
Until at some point it hit me that Pete and my dad had played together for about 10 years. I'd been playing with the guy for 30 years. It hit me that Pete was my friend. It was an amazing revelation, that I had been working with Pete much longer than my dad and him ever had to hang out.
Oh, yeah.
Although I think what they did in those early days was so important, that it might overwhelm historically the fact that I've played with Pete for all these years. But what an incredible man he is. I mean, without him, there wouldn't be the Woody Guthrie that we know, because it was really Pete who kept the spirit of that going through the 50s and into the 60s, kept the integrity of the songs intact while he was doing them. He wasn't just singing songs to be a performer or an entertainer.
Right.
He was using the songs to inspire people to make the changes in the world politically, socially, economically. He was the pot that kept the stew boiling for a long time.
Oh yeah, yes, without a doubt. I mentioned to him about the Rainbow. What was the name of that? Rainbow, the TV show.
The
Rainbow
show.
Quest.
Yes, right.
I don't know why, but for some reason, the concept of the Rainbow Children came to me when I heard that, and I don't know if there's any correlation, but it seemed that it seems a little odd, but then again, not so odd. The influence that Pete and Woody had on, I say our generation. I'm a couple years younger than yourself, but I still think of it as my generation. The influence that they had on our generation and continues to have is just amazing.
It is amazing, and now it's spreading around the world. There are a lot of young people that are coming. I mean, about a third of our audience now is under 25.
Wow.
That's amazing for somebody. I'm almost 60 years old, and it's hard for me to believe, first of all, that I have lived that many years already, and because I still feel it doesn't feel like that. But now we're seeing a lot of young people pick up that spirit. Maybe it's the time of the world again.
Yeah,
like it was for us 40 years ago, when people were actually realizing that the future of the planet and the future of the world depends on them participating in it to some extent.
Yeah.
You don't have to do a whole lot, but you have to do something. And if you don't do anything, you just sit back and party all the time. Things can get pretty out of hand, as we've seen.
Yes, it can.
And so it's great to see younger faces show it. I have such fun playing for them and goofing off with them because I'm new to them.
Right.
They didn't hear me back in the heyday. You know, they didn't. Alice's Restaurant is a new discovery for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
So I'm reliving part of my life.
That's wonderful.
And like I said earlier, the wonderful thing, like it always had been for me, was when I started playing, there were a lot of my dad's peers who would come to the shows. The older folks were not going to my friends and my peers' shows, but they were coming to mine because I had inherited them from my dad.
Right.
And so I still get people who are in their 90s, and I get people who are 9 and 19 and, you know, and everything in between who come to our shows. And I just love that because you get the whole sort of spirit of being a human being throughout all of the different parts of your life. And when people are doing that, singing together, I mean, what occasions do we have to do that these days? Mm-hmm. There aren't many.
No, everybody gets in their little own cubby these days.
Yep, that's right. But when it happens, it's an amazing thing that happens. You absorb some of the age of people who are a little older. You absorb some of the spirit of people who are a little younger. Everybody gains from that.
That's right.
And we just don't do it enough. And so I'm so thankful that happens at our shows these days.
Yeah.
I'm just loving it. It's great to be me at this point.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way because it reflects, and we all get to reflect in that glory.
I mean, I could have never asked for something like that. I wouldn't have been smart enough to do it. You know, it's just the way it turned out. So it's no great thing that I'm doing. It's just happened that way. And I'm so happy to do that. And to continue my dad's work, I think, has always been one of my interests. You know, I think it's the spirit of what those were doing.
Yeah.
Long before I was around.
Yeah.
To make regular people feel as though this is their world and this is your world and you can do something about it. That kind of spirit is sorely needed these days.
Yes, it is.
You know, it's you know, in political terms, it would be the equivalent of we're the deciders.
Right.
You know, and if we don't do it, other people will assume that the mantle.
Right. Do you think, I had a different question for you, but I think that question is irrelevant because you're basically on the road for hundreds of dates every year, and that's pretty much not stopped for many years. Am I correct?
Yeah. I'm going to start taking it a little easier these days, but yeah, we'll cut it back, but not that much.
But do you feel that at certain times on certain tours when there's a certain political climate going on, do you think that affects your performance, a sense of urgency to get a certain message? Yeah. Yeah.
How could it? Well, because we're all breathing the same air. I mean, we're all, you know, drinking the same water.
Right.
We're all walking around together. There's no way that the times can influence some people more than others. Even if you're hiding out with others at this point. You know?
Yeah.
So it's good to be in the world. It's good to be alive. I know Pete feels that way. He hasn't slowed. He may not be doing the number of shows he was doing, 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, but he's still out there chopping wood. He's ice skating the guy's 87 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
He's still going strong.
Unbelievable.
So I am not looking forward to a retirement party. I mean, he's my mentor. There's no way in hell that I could stop at this point. At least until I'm 87.
He keeps raising up or lowering the.
That's what I'm saying. He's making it tougher and tougher.
I know we.
John, I gotta get myself going here.
Yeah.
I've got some other things to do, but
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure talking with you.
It has too. I'm going to talk to Sarah here in a few minutes. One more quick question. I asked this to Pete. If they threw a time capsule in the ground that was going to open up in 200 years, which Arlo Guthrie song would you like in there?
Oh, my God. What a question that is.
I should have thrown that out at the beginning, give you some time to think about it.
Yeah, at least told me that before I got the coffee. I would have had a double shot. You know what? I have no idea.
All righty. We'll save that for next time.
Okay.
Hey, have a great time when you come down. I'm sorry?
It'll take that long to think about it.
Have a great time when you come down to Florida.
All right, man.
And I appreciate
it'll be coming home for me. I still live in Sebastian, although the home's still killed from the hurricanes a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah, we got killed down there pretty bad, but that's all right. It hasn't stopped us. We got the old farm up in Massachusetts. Luckily, we had that to go to, unlike half of my neighbors who are still living in trailers down there.
Right on. Well, there's my cue to take a break because that's my cue, and you're ready to go anyhow. So, again, thank you, Arlo. We'll be in touch.
Take it easy, John.
Have fun.
Bye-bye.
Oops. All right. Well, that sneaks up on you sometimes. Arlo Guthrie there. And stick around in just a few minutes. We'll be talking to his daughter, Sarah.